Yeah. The election results are in. Big news federally, big news state, local. And unfortunately, I lost my election, but I won in many different ways. And I'll break that down in a future episode. I think it's going to be really cool to see the pros and cons of just running for office, how to do it, what I experienced, what I saw straight from these politicians. And I don't know. I guess what's in the future, and maybe a possible run in the future too. I think our country is going down a path. We have an old way of thinking, and the problem is that thinking is not being, I guess, talked about enough. But with Washington State here, we had those 3 advisory notes that I mentioned in the last episode. And what those were is they are exactly what they say they are. They are advisory in nature. So really what it is it just tells the people, there's a law that was passed in Washington State that said, if the legislature imposes any tax without the vote of the people, it has to be an advisory note on the following ballot, the general election, so people can vote on it. And what the legislature is supposed to do is they're supposed to see these votes and be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think a lot of these politicians are self-serving nowadays, and it's kind of alarming. But we're going to break it down exactly what happened and then explain what other options there are to fight back against this tyranny. Right here, you're looking at the results here from the November 2nd, 2021 general election. Now, these are the results for the advisory notes. Like I said before, they are strictly advisory. And what happens is the Washingtonians spoke up. Look at that, 54% to 45% to say no to that behavioral health crisis something tax, and then 37% was a capital gains tax, and then 38% was that captive insurer tax. So the Washington residents spoke up and said, no, this is not a good idea. But the problem is now it's in the balance of the legislature if they're going to correct the laws that they passed or not. Now, if they don't, that's considered tyranny, and we need to speak up. And by doing that, there's specific ways in Washington State where you could do that, and I'm sure it's the same in other states as well. But what you could do is you can create that voter referendum. So a referendum actually gives like a legal binding voters rule that they can or cannot repeal a tax increase. But advisory notes, we say no, nothing can possibly change here. But what we could do is you can circulate a petition. If you get a certain amount of signatures, then you can put that on the ballot as a referendum. That referendum is when the American people come in and they throw it on the table and they say, hey, this is not a good idea. So it's something we could do in the future. And there's a couple activists in Washington State that are pretty good with initiatives like that. But hey, if not, if politics isn't in my future, which I still kind of think it is, I love my country a lot. We'll see what happens. But if not, then maybe I could get into something like that and really fight for the American people there. So the general takeaway is this. Washingtonians are educating themselves. They're speaking up. Now it's time to push forward. Let's get some referendums on it. Let's challenge these taxes. But hey, some exciting news. We're going to stop with this. It's not about me anymore. It's about you. And it's about educating everybody on the tyranny that's being perpetrated by the federal government, state, and local government. So on the next episode, we're switching gears. We're going back to education here. So get ready for an episode called What the Heck is a Filibuster? Where we're going to jump into it, explain it, and see the different flip-flopping from the politicians of the past. Other than that, the next episode maybe down the pike there is the benefits of becoming an illegal alien. So I think you guys will enjoy that one. But hey, thanks so much for being a part of the Nino G Show. Until the next time, catch you later.